one of the things that you don't have any, I don't think there was a paper written on this, was a device called the fringe log. Fringe being the fringe where you can barely pick up TV signals anymore because you're too far from the transmitter. And typically what happens, even with today's TV sets in such locations, is that you get out of synchronization and the picture starts sort of moving around up and down. The set becomes extremely sensitive to ignition noise. In other words, if there is a car idling in your driveway, the picture will just roll. You're probably too young to have seen this, but this was a fairly serious situation. A small group of us now, I was a member of the group, there were two others, came up with we really thought about exactly what happens to make this defect happen. And we dug in and we came up with a relatively simple and not at all expensive solution that really made a big difference. And I remember we demonstrated this thing at a meeting. This was in Chicago. It was what was then called the National Electronics Conference. We had two sets, one that had this new widget built in and the other one didn't. And we had constructed a machine out of electric razors and various other things that simulate ignition noise. We didn't have an internal combustion engine indoors that wouldn't work so well. But it was really terrible interference. I mean, it was gruesome. And I remember a gentleman sitting in the front row in the audience was Donald Fink, who was quite well known as being the chief editor of Electronics magazine for many years, and who had also written a book on television engineering, which was sort of the Bible on the subject at the time. I'm talking about the early 50s or late 40s. I remember Donald Fink sitting there in the front row, and after we finished this demonstration, in which the one set just completely lost its picture. I mean, you couldn't see anything except funny noises. Well, the other one looked noisy but perfectly intelligible. I remember he said real loud so everybody in the room could hear it, "This is incredible." I felt very happy about this.